I was having lunch with Alan Shimel today, catching up because we haven't seen each other for a while. I told him I was working on putting something together, a new podcast series on OSPOs, open source program offices, because it's such a powerful concept, but it's flying below the radar. To my surprise, Alan hadn't heard of it. Now you got to realize, Alan's one of my go-to people when it comes to bouncing ideas off of each other. He's CEO of the TechStrong Group, one of the most easily identified companies in the media industry when it comes to technology news. As a side note, Alan and I do produce the DevSecOps all-day event at RSA Conference each year in San Francisco and Singapore. I figured if Alan hadn't heard of OSPOs, then I'm on the right track. This is Mark Miller calling in right after lunch in Boca Raton, Florida. My interest in OSPOs came about through various conversations with Nithya Ruff, head of open source program offices at Amazon, Ana Jimenez, the To-Do Group OSPO program manager, and Ashley Wolf, open source director at GitHub. Speaking of Ashley and GitHub, they just released a project to help open source program offices get started. You can find a link to that project in the show notes. As a little background, over 80% of the components in modern software applications are open source. Yeah, really, 80%. As an example, think about that from the financial industry perspective. It came home to me when Wayne Jackson, CEO of Sonatype, told me, if you pulled open source from fintech solutions, the world economy would collapse immediately. Companies need to find a way to manage use of open source, including creating policies for usage, compliance with government and governance requirements, evaluating the security of the components that are being downloaded, and possible snafus in licensing. I'm not sure how they would do that without a formalized open source program office. So, keep an ear out. I'm seriously considering launching a new podcast for our growing network. Let me know if you're interested in a podcast on OSPOs, and I'll put you on the launch list. Now I got to get back to lunch. Search for and subscribe to It's 505 wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.